bill, and that was by a party, opposition party, which was the African Christian Democratic Party, introduced that amendment, and it was passed by Parliament. But generally, I've been a member of the executive myself for 10 years in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. And generally, I think as members of an executive, we are loath to see members of Parliament introduce legislation, because we feel it's a preserve of the executive that legislation should be introduced. Now that must change. That must change, it has to change, and it is changing in the South African scenario. My colleague, also late Mario Ambrosini, introduced what is called a medical innovation bill. And unfortunately he passed on. But Parliament agreed that we continue with that bill even after he passed on, and I was the mover of that bill and tabled the bill before Parliament. And the medical innovation bill essentially dealt with us legalizing the growing and manufacture of marijuana for medical purposes. And the department was totally against it, in the beginning. But through gentle persuasion, one-on-one meetings, and the fact that former President Zuma stood on a platform after listening to Mario Ambrosini, who came there with his gas tank and everything else, really in the last stages of his life, he said, we've got to do something about this. There has to be pain relief. And today, Michael Prince, he's here, he helped us with drafting that bill, taking it through the committee, and eventually the Department of Health and the Minister backed down on this very hard attitude of saying, no, we're not allowing anything to do with marijuana. It was first drawn up in 1965 or something like that. They were prepared to amend section 20 of it to allow for licenses to be applied for this. So I think as members